Korea, and Russia. This includes any governmental entities from these countries, companies headquartered in or controlled by these countries, and citizens of these countries. District 18 Senator Lois Coker's statement says certain adversaries continue to purchase land in Texas. The statement continues to say the bill is a common sense safeguard. The bill has been met with some protests. Protesters say all Texans deserve equal rights, including the right to buy property. Despite protests, Governor Greg Abbott supports the bill. Governor Abbott tweeted, "I will sign it. This follows a law signed banning those countries from threatening our infrastructure." Senate Bill 147 was filed with no further action. The next possible step would be having the bill referred to a committee for review. Here's your viewer poll this afternoon. Scan that QR code on your screen to vote. Do you support Senate Bill 147 banning foreign entities from buying Texas land? Yes or no? We want to hear from you. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to participate. I will have what you and your neighbors are saying on 25 News Now at 6. Back to you, James.
Darius, thank you. The latest on the fallout from the devastating earthquake in Turkey and Syria. The death toll now at over 37,000 as rescue efforts turn into recovery efforts. A humanitarian crisis is unfolding with a cholera outbreak in Syria and an estimated 5 million people left homeless.
The chances of finding more survivors beneath the rubble of devastation in Turkey and Syria fading by the hour, but glimpses of hope as young children are pulled from pancake buildings. Here, an explosion of cheers as rescuers hold up a 6-year-old girl pulled from the rubble after about 178 hours, people shouting, "God is great." And then a 13-year-old boy pulled from a destroyed building in Turkey after nearly 182 hours. Survivors now face the secondary disaster of homelessness. Families comforting their crying children as they search for shelter after their homes were destroyed. In the northern countryside of Idlib, a temporary shelter with 20 to 30 tents. It's not enough though, so families are forced to sleep outside in the freezing cold. It's conditions like these that are magnifying the clarion call for more aid. UN officials meeting today with Syria's foreign minister to discuss ways to get relief and resources into the country. Turkey's foreign minister announcing today the country will open a second border crossing into Syria to allow more aid to flow across the disaster frontier. Outrage is now growing as Turkish officials turn their sights on builders, issuing more than 100 arrest warrants for contractors and construction managers allegedly linked to collapsed buildings. I'm Morgan Norwood, ABC News, New York.
New evidence in the Alex Murdaugh trial it's a murder trial in South Carolina, could delay the process. Both the prosecution and defense received data from General Motors over the weekend, including GPS location data from the OnStar system in Murdaugh's Chevrolet Suburban. The FBI took a year to analyze all that. Murdaugh's defense team expressed concern the volume of data would make them unprepared for cross-examination. Also, 2 jurors have tested positive for COVID-19.
We have some matters with the jury, with 2 jurors who have tested positive for COVID. And they will not be able to continue. They've confirmed the positive tests by sending them to the clerk of court, who has forwarded copies to me. And I've spoken with each of those jurors, and they are one is symptomatic, and one had a cough and sore throat, and they've both been relieved. So we have 2 alternates, 2 alternates that'll become part of the regular panel.
So the jurors in that case are now voluntarily wearing masks in the courtroom. Let's check in with Howie. Howie, you say some rain chances. When?
Slight chances, James. We'll go into that in half a second. What we have, though, are the winds are starting to pick up. But temperature-wise, hey, above average once again. Still on the coast, mid to upper 60s. Move away from the water, still right around 70 degrees. So again, our winter weather looking very nice, but there is going to be a cool down. But first things first, our winds. We have storms pushing out of the desert southwest. We have winds activated up from the southeast. fast-moving upper-level winds are transcending down to the surface, so we're a little bit on that gusty side. Now, this evening we'll be in the 60s overnight, dropping down to 63, mostly cloudy. There's a boundary headed our way, thus going to continue to strengthen our winds, maybe bringing us a shower as well. We'll talk all about that coming up very soon. James?
Howie, thank you. The U.S. military shot down another unidentified flying object Sunday at President Biden's request. The Pentagon claims the craft was flying at 20,000 feet over Michigan's Upper Peninsula when U.S. fighter jets took it down.
This is a turning point where we need to discuss this is a threat and how do we respond to it.
The Pentagon confirmed F-16 fighter jets neutralized a high-altitude device over North American airspace Sunday afternoon.
We were cleared to engage the target in eastern Upper Peninsula of Michigan, overland, and ultimately downed the object at this point about 15 nautical miles east of the Upper Peninsula in Lake Huron.
Pentagon officials say the octagon-shaped object was not a military threat, but rather a flight hazard. This was the third one shot over the U.S. in as many days, and the fourth in just over a week, and lawmakers want answers.
I have real concerns about why the administration is not being more forthcoming with everything that it knows. But part of the problem here is that both of the second and the third objects were shot down in very remote areas.
The Department of Defense says the objects shot down Friday and Saturday didn't resemble the suspected Chinese spy balloon taken down last week. Debris recovery efforts for those downed balloons are ongoing.
The military and the intelligence are focused like a laser on first gathering and accumulating the information, then coming up with a comprehensive analysis of what went on before, what's going on now, and what could go on in the future.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
ABC News Live is airing a 30-minute special tonight titled Uvalde 365 Crisis of Command. ABC News correspondent John Quinones has covered the mass shooting since day one. 8 months later, he highlights some of the most troubling failures from that day. Right, we'll try to get that for you a little bit later. Tonight's 30-minute special, pardon me, is on ABC News Live on Facebook at 7:30 p.m. Here's John Quinones.
This is the very first comprehensive minute-by-minute look at exactly what happened. And yes, there were 911 calls, including one from a 10-year-old girl, little Chloe Torres, who survived the shooting. She was in one of the classrooms calling 911, begging, pleading for the police to respond, and they didn't for ever so long. We will hear from her. We will also hear recordings that show that police spent all that time looking for keys to try to get into one of the classrooms. Well, it turns out they really didn't need a key to open that door. And we also hear in these tapes that the police could hear themselves the gunman reloading his rifle, which would have given them ample time to break in through the door and take him down. These were, again, opportunities that were squandered.
So this 30-minute special will include never-before-seen body camera footage, 911 calls, exclusive interviews with the top of DPS, the head of the DA's office, family members, and you'll get a detailed timeline of what happened that day at Robb Elementary. Stay with us. Straight ahead on 25 News Now at 5. 6 people hurt following a shooting at a gas station in Louisville, Mississippi. The suspects include minors. Also ahead, a CDC report highlights teen girls experiencing more violence and mental health issues.
Are you ready to stop letting big business take your customers away? Phase 3 Digital is your #1 digital marketing resource to keep your customers shopping with you. With an office right here in the Crossroads and a team of support across the nation, we can help you wherever your business is in the online journey. From building a site to developing e-commerce capabilities to growing your customer base, we will drive results. It is time to take the next step in growing your business with Phase 3 Digital. Are you ready to take your customers back? Give us a call or visit us online to get started.
Hi folks, Greg at Fuller Pet. A longtime customer talked to me the other day and told me they switched to a horse feed from another company because it was cheaper than ours. Before long, the shape of his horses deteriorated and one ended up at the vet. Our equine feeds are formulated to keep your horses in the best condition and maintain peak performance at any life stage. We're not the cheapest, but we sell a superior quality product at a fair price. And in my opinion, that's value. Come see us at Fuller Pet.
Gifts, gifts, and more gifts. Come to the homestead and leave with the perfect gift for everyone and every occasion.
Imagine spending 25 grand on a wedding.
I had a guest list of 100.
Marrying yourself. Were you a bridezilla?
Only at the rehearsal.
Were you afraid you weren't going to show up? Saying I do to yourself.
If you want to celebrate yourself, that's great. I just think there are other ways to do it.
That's not your business.
This will lead to people marrying multiple people, marrying animals.
When I listen to you, I just feel like really tense.
New Dr. Phil.
In Mississippi, 6 people hurt in a shooting at a gas station. Authorities say it happened Sunday afternoon in Louisville, about 100 miles northeast of Jackson. The police chief said it involved several minors. 3 of the victims are in critical condition. 3 other people were taken to the hospital but were released.
Well, tell the truth, it started with these little young kids. First of all, they need to put these guns down, go to church, and their mom need to, chastise them. Life goes on. We need to learn how to communicate and get along together. This is not it. Louisville's a very small town, and this right here shouldn't even be going on in Louisville. None of this.
So 1 person is in custody this afternoon. The police chief there says a number of other suspects involved. In a recent survey by the CDC, teen girls in the U.S. experienced record levels of violence, sadness, and suicide risk in recent years. 57% of teen girls felt persistently sad or hopeless in 2021, and nearly a third had seriously considered attempting suicide. The CDC says both those metrics had increased dramatically over the past 10 years. The CDC data underscores significant declines in youth health and well-being overall.
These data show a distressing picture. America's teen girls are engulfed in a growing wave of sadness, violence, and trauma. Over the past decade, teens, especially girls, have experienced dramatic increases in experiences of violence and poor mental health and suicide risk. Findings also confirm ongoing trauma among lesbian, gay, bisexual, and questioning youth.
About 1 in 17 girls said at some point they were forced to have sex. Nearly 1 in 5 had experienced sexual violence in the past year. The Suicide and Crisis Lifeline number is 988. Police say at least 8 people were hurt after a U-Haul truck ran over pedestrians in Brooklyn. The suspected driver is a 62-year-old homeless man. Police say he was behaving irrationally when officers tried to pull him over. He claimed he wanted to die and took off driving on the sidewalk, hitting pedestrians in multiple areas of a neighborhood before getting onto the highway. Police surrounded him when he exited the highway. He was taken into custody for questioning and is now in the hospital for a psychological evaluation. From Sunday's Super Bowl to watching TV, you may have spent a lot of time around the television this past weekend. TVs and other furniture not properly secured is potentially dangerous, even deadly if tipped over.
Pick out all your jammies.
It can happen in an instant, even when you're watching.
Good job. Those go in the very top drawer.
These are real-life tip-overs. Thankfully, no children died in these scary accidents, but falling furniture can cause serious injuries, even death.
Kids are going to be kids. They're going to be running around. They're going to be climbing on things. They may trip over a cord that pulls down a television.
The latest report from the Consumer Product Safety Commission shows each year between 2019 and 2021, emergency rooms treated an estimated 19,400 people. Between 2000 and 2021, there were nearly 600 reported deaths.
The vast majority of them are children.
And many of those deaths involved a TV, but there are simple ways to protect family. Store heavy items at the bottom of furniture. Place nothing on top that would entice kids to climb. If there are cords, tuck them away. And finally, use an anchor.
Going down to the local hardware store for under $20, in less than 20 minutes, you can attach your television or your bookcase or dresser to the wall.
At anchorit.gov, you'll find step-by-step instructions on how to properly anchor things to the wall. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Elon Musk is defending the decision to limit Ukrainian access to SpaceX satellite technology Starlink. Musk says the restrictions are aimed at avoiding conflict which could lead to World War III. He admits the Ukrainian drones linking to Starlink are critical for frontline communications between Ukrainian troops and are a key component of their fight. Musk says SpaceX will not, quote, enable escalation of conflict. SpaceX leaders say the company never intended Starlink to be used for military purposes.
We have some boundaries headed our way that could bring rain, wind, and cooler weather. We'll talk all about it.
Have you been told you have to live with your wound? There is hope at PAM Outpatient Wound Care. At PAM Outpatient Wound Care Clinic, you'll find the latest technology and the most committed and caring professionals dedicated to your wound healing. Our experienced wound healing experts and multidisciplinary team specialize in preventing amputation and preserving limbs.
I began hyperbarics here. I'm walking and have the leg, which is the best part.
Come see us at PAM Outpatient Wound Care, where healing starts here.
Inside Super Bowl 2023. Next, Inside Edition. All the behind-the-scenes action you didn't see on TV.
I'm actually on the field.
The TV event of the year, the Inside Edition way. And Rihanna's halftime show.
I love it. I love it.
How'd she do? Plus, the terrifying drive. How he got out alive at 110 miles an hour. Next, Inside Edition.
You gave him a 60-day notice. Why?
He was verbally abusive, threatening.
A former tenant's petty payback.
You filed some sort of a complaint and sued him.
After I moved out.
You're some piece of work.
Why is that?
I don't have to answer your question. I'm telling you.
The judge gets to the root of the problem.
I just want to know who I'm dealing with.
Okay.
Yeah, now I know. Now I know who I'm dealing with.
Next, Judge Judy.
Ryan and I were wondering,
Yes, we were wondering if maybe...
like maybe, you know...
You guys would... What if they say no?
No, don't say that. Love is in the air, right?
Next Live, it's our love show with Jason Biggs and Jenny Mullen.
Come on, let's just say it.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Okay.
Will you be our Valentine?
All right, we're taking on some clouds after seeing some decent sunshine earlier today, but there was enough sunshine to warm us up very nicely. Look at that, 73 degrees, almost 5 degrees above average. We've been as high as 86 back in 1926. Let's take a look at our temps. So on the water, mid to upper 60s. Get away from the water, very similar. Temperatures right around 70 degrees. So yeah, this is a very nice winter February feel, but as we know around here, especially in the winter months, things can go on a roller coaster ride. We're going to see some cooler temperatures again in the near future. All right, here's our dew points. They're rebounding after getting wiped down into the 20s and 30s with frontal passage over the last couple of days. Now we're starting to see some moisture out of the southeast, and that flow, that return flow, that warmer air, it's spiking up our winds as well. We're seeing some gust in that 25 to 30 mile per hour range. And here we go. We're going to really not lose these winds. There's storms pushing in from the desert southwest. That's triggering upper level winds. Those upper level winds transcending down to the surface. So we can hold on to these 25 to maybe 35 mile per hour wind gusts over the course of the next 2 to 3 days. And in those couple 2-3 day time frame, we got multiple boundaries moving down into the crossroads. Okay, here's our first one. This one will be on the move as this heads our way. Going to spike up our winds. We could see some showers, then some cooler air comes down, then another boundary. You see it coming out of the northwest. This one comes down into the area, could trigger some showers, going to reactivate the winds again. And yes, more cooler air moving in to the crossroads. So we're looking at some cooler temperatures with some highs in the 50s after warming up into the 70s very nicely over the course of the last few days. All right, here's our future tracker. Here is what we have. We've got multiple boundaries coming through. So yeah, we have showers. That first boundary takes off. Another one heads our way, and we start to see some more of these rain showers. So yeah, we can start seeing some showers here. James is right. He was talking about it a moment ago. We might see some showers here in the course of the next few days. That small craft advisory should be, activated because seas occasionally at 11 feet. I know, bays on the choppy side, so you want to be very careful out there on the open waterway. Here's another look at our winds. So yeah, that's probably the name of the game right now, the main story, other than the warmer temperatures on the breezy side. So this evening, we'll be in the 60s, winds in that 15, 20 mile per hour range. And overnight, down to 63. But look at these winds gusting to 30 miles per hour. Hey, temperatures aren't near 20 and 40, 30 and 40, so not as bad, but still on that breezy side, even with those warm temperatures. Okay, for tomorrow, 78 degrees. Gusty, though, winds again around 30 miles per hour. Let's go to Cuero. You see that first boundary knocking us down into the 50s. We do warm up very nicely. Then for Port Lavaca, yeah, we get knocked down into the 50s on Friday. And then back here in Victoria, here is what we're looking at. So Wednesday, that boundary comes through, but first things first, Tuesday. Happy Valentine's Day in advance. Temperatures near 80 degrees. That boundary knocks us into the 50s, and then we slowly warm up later on towards the end of the weekend. For more weather, news, and sports, you can go to our app. That's at crossroadstoday.com, and that is free with any Android and iPhone. And now we send it back to James.
Owie, thanks for that reminder. Coming up next on 25 News Now at 5, we'll take a look at Wall Street. Plus, home equity loans went up 47% in the third quarter last year.
Do you have questions about changes in the tax code? Ask Alexander and Mark, Victoria's full-time tax professionals. Fast, friendly service for all your tax needs. Alexander and Mark, CPAs, 3205 East Mockingbird, your year-round tax professionals.
You can enjoy endless entertainment and local news updates for free on our 17 over-the-air channels. Connect your TV antenna to your smart TV in 3 easy steps. Connect the coaxial cable from your antenna to the back of your TV. Select the menu button on your remote and navigate to the correct input of your antenna. Find the channel scan option and click it. Setting up your antenna will keep you entertained and informed with the latest weather updates and emergency information for free. Call or email for questions or more information. Stay connected and stay safe.
It would appear that the butler did it. But this isn't a whodunit film. It's a Nissan sales event. Now that's a killer deal. Good thing this Rogue has a VC turbo engine, unlike RAV4.
Get 0% financing for 36 months on select models.
Catch these offers while you can.
Go through all 18 of my girls. We not. Plus, Bianca Belair and Montez Ford from WWE.
Imagine spending 25 grand on a wedding.
I had a guest list of 100.
Marrying yourself. Were you a bridezilla?
Only at the rehearsal.
Were you afraid you weren't going to show up? Saying I do to yourself.
If you want to celebrate yourself, that's great. I just think there are other ways to do it.
That's not your business.
This will lead to people marrying multiple people, marrying animals.
When I listen to you, I just feel like really tense.
New Dr. Phil.
Movies are dreams that you never forget.
This is larger than any of us.
It's tax time, and for years, Victoria has trusted Alexander and Mark. Get your refund fast, do electronic filing, or file an extension. Alexander and Mark can do it all. Alexander and Mark, CPAs at 3205 East Mockingbird.
The Dow up 316 points, the S&P adding 39 points, and the NASDAQ losing 159 points. Oil up 42 cents, closing at $80.14 a barrel. Rising home prices are opening the door for more homeowners to tap into the equity they've built up. Credit Bureau TransUnion says the number of new home equity loans jumped 47% in the third quarter last year. Google is trying something new to curb the spread of misinformation. It's expanding an education program to teach more people how to spot false claims. Videos will soon appear as ads on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok in Germany after a test run in other European countries. We'll take one last look at your forecast with Howie, plus a Turkish-Syrian businessman partnering with the Hard Rock Cafe to send help to earthquake victims.
Stay up to date with what's happening in the Crossroads by downloading the Crossroads Today mobile app. You'll get instant alerts to your phone or tablet the minute breaking news or weather happens. Only the free Crossroads Today mobile app features weather updates for local sports. The Crossroads Today app gives you the ability to stream our daily newscasts when you're on the go and share pictures or tips straight to our newsroom and so much more. Brought to you locally by Prosperity Bank with 12 locations serving the Crossroads area.
You two want to know the sex of the baby?
Yes.
No, don't look.
The Good Doctor is Monday's feel-good hit.
My job is to mentor and teach you how to be a good doctor.
The Good Doctor, new tonight on ABC and stream on Hulu.
Inside Super Bowl 2023. Next, Inside Edition. All the behind-the-scenes action you didn't see on TV.
I'm actually on the field.
The TV event of the year, the Inside Edition way. And Rihanna's halftime show.
Love it. I love it.
How'd she do? Plus, the terrifying drive. How he got out alive at 110 miles an hour. Next, Inside Edition.
You gave him a 60-day notice. Why?
He was verbally abusive, threatening.
A former tenant's petty payback.
You filed some sort of a complaint and sued him.
After I moved out.
You're some piece of work.
Why is that?
I don't have to answer your question. I'm telling you.
The judge gets to the root of the problem.
I just want to know who I'm dealing with.
Okay.
Yeah, now I know. Now I know who I'm dealing with.
Next, Judge Judy.
Go through all 18 of my girls. We not. Plus, Bianca Belair and Montez Ford from WWE.
Ryan and I were wondering,
Yes, we were wondering if maybe
you know.
you guys would. What if they say no?
No, don't say that. Love is in the air, right?
Next live, it's our love show with Jason Biggs and Jenny Mullen.
Come on, let's just say it.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Okay.
Will you be our Valentine?
Get your cell phone, scan this QR code, our quick response code, to download the Crossroads Today app. Watch us wherever, whenever. Get breaking news alerts, vote in our viewer polls, submit news tips, videos, and photos, and know about our ongoing contests. A businessman of Turkish and Syrian heritage residing in Madrid worked with the local Hard Rock Cafe there to bring aid to the victims of the devastating earthquake in Turkey and Syria. He partnered with the hotel to establish it as an aid collection and storage site. He says so much aid was taken to the hotel, they're nearly out of room and will have to start sending shipments to Turkey and Syria. He has family members who were affected by the earthquake and survived, and now live in difficult conditions. Let's check in with Howie one more time. Howie, we're going to need the umbrella on Valentine's Day?
I don't think we're going to need the umbrella. I mean, there could be some light drizzle. I mean, that boundary is actually coming through tomorrow morning. I think we'll be on the drier side. Wind-wise, though, hey, you might need to hold on to those flowers or whatever you're delivering. You don't want it to go all over the place because we're looking at winds in that 25 to 35 mile per hour range. We're starting with the winds now. Other weather variables are coming through that probably going to keep these winds going. Now, this evening, we'll be in the 60s overnight, dropping down to 63 degrees. Still see the winds keep going. And then for tomorrow, 78, but yeah, 30 mile per hour wind. So sunshine tomorrow, not looking at rain. Looking ahead, here is what we got. That boundary does knock us down, but Valentine's looking really good, James.
All right, Howie, thank you so much. Remember, we're always on at Crossroads Today Plus. We hope to see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 6.